freeway lately. Good morning. Dr. Lanes, good morning. This working? Yes, it is. Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. It's the quarterly meeting of the Mohave County Employee Benefit Trust Fund Board of Directors. It is Thursday, August 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Okay, let's make sure we have everyone who's supposed to be here.
Okay, we have a board member, Dalton Barlow,
Here.
and board member Verlin Tennell,
On the phone.
and board member Susie Perel Durancy. Is that how you say it?
Duranzo.
No, Duranzo.
Duranzo. Okay, thank you.
I'm here.
All right, and then we have board member Joy Bancroft, and so we do have a quorum.
Very good. Just a little, I want to know where Verlin is. Are you in Finland or Iceland or somewhere around there?
I'm somewhere between Greenland and Iceland.
Nice.
On the ocean.
I'm glad that you thought this meeting was important enough to take. What time is it over there?
We're 7 hours different.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
So,
you.
I don't know. It's like 5 o'clock or something.
Okay. Well, thank you
It's
very
cold,
much,
though.
Verlin. All right. Let's see. I called it to meeting. The official business to come before the board. Call to public. I'm opening up the call to public. Seeing no public, I'm going to close the call to public. Number 2, the wellness program update.
Good morning, Madam Chair, trustees. Slight change, as you'll notice, I'm not Tori, but she had a prior engagement, so I'm going to be going over the highlights of the wellness memo. So the following updates that I'm going to go over for preventative screenings. Year to date, the overall screenings are down a bit. We're looking at incentives like giveaways and things like that to increase engagement. The Livongo program, we're working to create a new file feed with Navitus to create a targeted outreach to members. We think, given what Livongo does and getting a file feed from Navitus will help identify members and again to increase engagement. You'll see a theme through here trying to always increase engagement into the wellness programs. Navigate. Implementing new challenges. There's a walking challenge, and with the help of the county's wellness committee, they're assisting in driving employee communication, getting the word out, and again, trying to drive engagement. Hinge Health. Also Navigate, there's a new platform coming out. We had a chance to review a demo with them. We do believe that's going to be an enhancement and be a benefit to the user experience through that new platform. So they should be rolling that out towards the end of the year. We don't have an exact date yet, but looking forward to that coming. Hinge Health, the update we have on there is very positive feedback from the folks that use it. If you're not familiar with Hinge Health, that's kind of the virtual physical therapy program. So it's hard to measure engagement on that one because once people finish the program, they kind of drop off. So it's more of an as-needed program. But the feedback that we are getting from the people that participate has been very positive so far.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Hildy, this is
John,
Linda.
just a question on the health risk assessment screening. Reading through the write-up and your comment, and while I'm grateful that we continue to build and increase the numbers and the interest, the graph that is provided does not support our statement in saying we're thrilled to see participation rate continue to increase the last several years. The chart at the top of page 4 shows, unless the numbers for 23-24 are not for a complete year, in all three areas, Lake Havasu, Bullhead, and Kingman, show a decrease in 2024, 23-24 versus the 2 years before. So, I would be thrilled for any increase, but I don't see an increase in 23-24. I see a decrease across the board, at least for the health risk assessment. Did I miss something, or is
No,
that?
I'm reading that the same way. Going back and looking at what Tori wrote as the increase over the last several years, I'd have to get more specific information on what she's comparing to. I know it's down a bit now, but if she's comparing that to a longer period of time and have seen those rates go up over that period of time, but they are down ticking for this immediate period. So that's kind of how I'm reading that, but I'd have to get those specific information from her.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I hope it continues, and I would be
Yep.
thrilled too if they continue to increase. But we if indeed 23-24 is an anomaly or is a decrease, it would be nice to know why, and then figure out a way to reverse that trend.
Thank you. Yeah, and agree that's the important aspect of looking at the data, that if we do see a drop in engagement from prior years, what do we need to change in the form of communication and get people back out there and engaged in these programs?
Great, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, thank you. Number 3, discussion of pre-audit financial information through June 30th, 2023 and 2024 county budget. Mr. Mornian.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. So hopefully everybody got the revised page 8 with the charts on it. Apologies for that late revision. So the top of the page, we have our cash flow through June 30th, and I'll just preface this entire discussion with the fact that these are all pre-audit numbers for June 30th, 2024, so they are subject to change. But the cash flow is looking healthy, just under $11 million. The trust fund balance on the bottom, you will see that the two lines, the recommended reserve and the fund balance, have crossed paths and changed direction. That is the first time since 2011, but I don't want anyone to be alarmed at this point. Even though this shows that our projected fund balance will be less than the recommended reserve balance, which went up significantly, there is some positive news. Unless anyone has questions on page 9, I would direct you to page 10 and 11 to our budget. On page 10, the health services reimbursements, at the time that this was printed, that number was 830,000 roughly. It's actually up about 400,000 since then due to some additional reimbursements that have come in. So that's positive on the revenue side. And then on page 11, you can see that the actuary's recommended reserve went up to 9.6 million. What we had budgeted for was 9 million. Or excuse me, our budgeted ending balance for 25 was 9 million, and that would have put us 600K under the reserve recommendation. But if you look at the 2024 actual ending balance, it's 10.8 million versus what we budgeted at 9.4, and so that more than makes up for the increase in the recommended reserve balance. As long as we don't get any significant year-end adjustments, we should be in pretty good shape.
Very good, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Elters?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a couple of questions. And I am on page 9, Luke. At the lower right corner, where it says the calendar year and then the first half and the second half of each of those years, and then provides a total. All five or all four, except for the year 2020, the second half is less than the first half. So I would anticipate 2024 to match that trend. And so the total claim for the 2024 one would expect it to be consistent with that. And furthermore, on the same page, looking at the year 2023, January through December, and then the year 2024, January through June, if you compare January to June of 23 and January to June of 24, that number is not alarming. It's comparable. It's only about $500,000 difference between those two. So I look at these numbers and want to lean on the side of I'm not alarmed as you are suggesting, because of those numbers and what you just alluded to on the next page as far as budget versus actual. So I just wanted to make that point, Madam Chair.
Yep. And I agree with everything you said, Sam. We continue to see year-over-year increases in the claims, but they don't appear to be out of line with historical increases.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Anyone on the phone? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, discussion, consideration of, and possible action regarding approval of the Walker and Armstrong Certified Public Accountants and Advisors Audit Engagement Letter.
Thank you. I forgot this one was next. So this is just standard. Every year we put before you the engagement letter for the audit services for the trust. Be happy to answer any questions. Walker and Armstrong has performed the audit the last 2 years, so this will be their 3rd year.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Elters.
Madam Chair, thank you. Luke, on page 14, bottom half of that page, where and I quote, "We have identified the following significant risks of material misstatements as part of our audit planning." And then it provides 2 bullet, one under management override, the other one is revenue recognition.
So
can you
I can
elaborate on
absolutely
these
speak
2
to that.
bullets?
So those are what we refer to as presumptive risks. They're included in every audit. There's always the risk of management override because it's something that essentially if you have management colluding to circumvent the internal controls that are in place, that's always a risk that is present. The same thing for revenue recognition. Revenue recognition is always an area of heightened focus. There's always a heightened risk there, and so these are 2 risks that are present in pretty much every audit.
So these are risks that they're going to drill down on and review up closely, I assume. But on the other hand, I would hope that what they would find is that we have controls and measures in place to eliminate or
Mitigate.
ensure that does not happen. Because after all, when they talk about management colluding, I think there's two of those in the room here today, and that's you and I. So I just want to make sure we have measures in place that at least the auditors agree with, that they're adequate to ensure that.
I have not had any conversations with the auditors to indicate otherwise.
Okay. I just the reading of that raised the flag in my mind, and I wanted to.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I just have a quick personal thing because, again, there's another story out about embezzlement of county fund, not this county. This is another county, and I'm always surprised because of these audits. How much responsibility these auditors take should, they miss certain activities? Are they liable for anything, the auditors?
The answer would be it depends, but the way that the engagement letters that describe the scope of services are worded, generally there's not really a whole lot that can be pinned on the auditors. They don't provide absolute assurance when they issue an opinion on the financials. They issue a professional opinion, but if you read through the audit engagement letter, you'll see that in a couple of places it'll indicate that we don't provide absolute assurance because we don't audit every single
They cover
transaction, et
themselves.
cetera.
It's just some of these scams go on for years, 10 years in Santa Cruz, $40 million from the treasurer's office. And, your first thing you think of is, where are the auditors? Like, why do we even have these audits,
Yeah, that's an interesting case, Chairman, because their auditors for a number of years indicated they had concerns.
They did.
And nothing came of it. And then the last few years before they actually, before the treasurer resigned, they were issuing a pretty clean opinion with no more of those concerns. But I think that investigation, at least from what I've read of it, they said that the treasurer was producing a second set of forged financial statements. There were some things going on in Santa Cruz that couldn't happen here because of the controls the treasurer's office has in place. For instance, she could initiate a wire transfer to an outside account, initiate it and approve it. That doesn't happen in our treasurer's office. We have better controls in place.
Oh, good. That makes me feel better. Okay, thank you very much. All right, there's nothing more on this audit. Let's go to number 5. I need to turn the page. Discussion, consideration of, and
Chairman?
possible action regarding approval of the 2024-2025 MCEBT budget.
Excuse me, Manager. Do we need to make a decision for item number 4?
Oh, we need action on that? Okay, so
Yes,
sorry about
that's
that. So I need a motion to approve the Walker and Armstrong Certified Public Accountants and Auditors Audit Engagement Letter.
So move.
Okay,
Approve
so
it.
we have a first. Why don't you just give it a second?
Second.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding approval of the 2024-2025 MCEBT budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair, trustees. The discussion and consideration of approval of the budget, as you'll notice on the front page of the memo there, which is good news typically. We list that this last plan year, or effective July 1st, there were no changes made to the medical benefits, dental, life, anything like that. So that's always good to deliver to the employees that there's going to be no changes to their benefits. As we all know, changes typically mean takeaways. So that's always good when you can keep the same level of benefit year after year and deliver that to your employees. The one thing that did change is, if you recall, when we go through the budget exercise, is the stop loss renewal. When we go through that, we have an estimated number of what we think that renewal is going to come in at. And the reason for that is there's a timing on when they receive the claims data they need to firm and bind coverage comes after we do the budget. So we put in an estimate while we do the budget build-up, come up with that, and then by the time we get to this meeting, they've received all the information they need. They come back with their final renewal. The good news is their final renewal was lower than what we estimated. It's not an earth-shattering number, but it does result in about a $29,000 savings than what was originally budgeted. So that is the only change really in the fixed fees that we went over at that time during the budget. And then in addition, I just have a breakdown of the budget overview in here that shows, roughly 75% go to claims and medical and prescription drug claims, 14.4 are premiums, a little over 4% for claims administration and 6.5% to other administrative costs, benefit admin, wellness administration, consulting, things like that.
Okay. Questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. And
This one needs a motion as well, I believe.
right,
Yep.
thank you. I need a motion to approve the 2024-2025 MCEBT budget.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move to approve the 2024-2025 MCEBT budget as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, discussion consideration of impossible action regarding the 2023-2024 incurred but not reported claims reserve.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So every year at this time, the consulting actuary, which is Chris Marshall from Buck, provides us with an updated IBNR reserve liability as of June 30th, 2024 for this period. Just a quick highlight of what the difference is between the IBNR and your recommended reserves. The IBNR is an estimate of what your liability is if you were to shut the plan down as of 6/30. What are the expenses that roll in after that? So that's really just that component of it. This letter is from the actuary with their recommended reserve. Chris is on the line to address any questions, but I will point out a couple highlights. You'll notice the reserve increased quite substantially last year to this year by about 54%, 55%, which equates to about $956,000. The estimated reserve is about $2.7 million. Two of the driving factors in that increase, one is overall increase in claims. Your claims increase is going to increase your liability, all things being equal. In this case, not all things have been equal. Chris, doing the analysis, noticed that there was a significant slowdown in claim payment patterns. So when claims don't get paid as quickly, that increases the amount of time that all of that outstanding liability is realized. So that is another driving factor, increasing the overall IBNR. So those are the two main driving factors resulting in that increase. I don't want to steal all of Chris's thunder, so any additional questions, getting kind of into the detail, I will turn that over to him to address any questions.
Okay. Is he on the video or just on the phone? He's on Teams.
I'm on the phone.
Okay. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Yeah. So, as John mentioned, there was a lot of slowdown from the prior plan year, the first few additional months in particular. So that's where the bulk of your reserve comes from. So, for example, if you go to the doctor, then that claim does not get turned around, sent in, processed, vetted, and paid immediately. It takes time. So that time is generally referred to as the lag. And overall average, it's about 2 months is how long it takes for a claim to be paid once it's incurred. Of course, there's differences in there, and tends to be the higher dollar claims tend to take longer to pay sometimes, just because of the review process and everything that goes on. But most of your reserve is made up of your more recent months, because that's where you still have most of your outstanding claims that have yet to been filed and processed and paid, and that's what we observed here. So the first few months, there was a significant slowdown in the payments, and that is the reason for the increased reserve, why it was so much higher. This is while I haven't seen one quite this high. I have seen an overall slowdown in payments with the reserves that I've been calculating this year versus last year. I'd say much more the case than not, there's been an increase because of slower payments. So I'm not really sure what's causing that exactly. It's just processing speed or whatever's just getting a little slower. So, but that's what's been going on with your claims.
Okay. Is this amount of increased time, is it troubling? Does it present a, something that is going to get worse in the future? I'm just kind of trying to understand why now.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
question. Chris, I'll kind of jump in, and then please jump in after and add anything that I don't. It could be a troubling pattern if that's something we see to continue on in the future, that it becomes consistent with the way they're paying overall claims. Typically, TPAs and insurance companies, their goal is to pay claims faster because it reduces their outstanding liability as well. So the goal is to pay claims quicker. To see a significant slowdown, we'll just have to wait and see if this is a pattern that continues in the future. We're hoping that this is just a slowdown that coincidentally lines up with the analysis of this IBNR, where it had to take into account that maybe going forward we see them make adjustments in the way they're paying claims, or kind of fix this issue. But historically, I've not seen TPAs or any claims administration firm consistently slow down going forward. You typically see it the opposite. The systems, technology, things like that usually result in a speed up in claims. So there could be quite a few things that took place that happened at this particular time when we're looking at this analysis that showed a slowdown in their claims.
Okay, so do you ever inquire why, this is going on? And do you see this pattern in your other clients, or some of your other clients? Is this just across the board? It's getting slower, it's just us?
It's not just you. That the payment patterns consistently would be with anybody who's being administered by this particular administrator. To have one particular client out of the thousands they have a unique, mutually exclusive slowdown compared to the payment patterns that are going across their entire book would be highly unusual.
Okay.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Susie.
Yeah. Is it also possible that some of these claims occurred towards the end of the fiscal year, and therefore the billing is not provided immediately until after the fiscal year?
Well, that's what we're estimating. So at the end of the year, we're estimating what claims there are that still would need to be paid that were incurred before the fiscal year ends. So that's what we're estimating, and we have like 24 months of data that we'll look back on and analyze these patterns. So we're not just looking at 1 month and estimating. So this has been going on, over the last 24 months is where we're getting the data, and in particular the last 12 is where we saw kind of the slowdown happen. And there were a few more larger claims, so not necessarily $250,000 or $500,000 claims or anything like that, but just bigger claims than usual. And sometimes those take a little bit longer to process and to vet and then to get paid than your, say, typical like doctor office visit where not much is going on claim wise. And I think that was a part of the slowdown here. It was caused in the last 12 months. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I think we're all basically asking the same question, so I'm going to take a different angle, but I think it's the same question that our chairman just asked and Susie asked as well, which is even on a personal level, when you see a doctor or you go to the hospital, it seems like the bills are taking longer to come to you. And I just want to confirm what I've heard. I think what I've heard you and Chris say, which is this slowdown is not unique to this trust. Perhaps it's more of an industry trend now. At least that's what I'm hearing. I'm asking the question to confirm that that's what you're saying. And hopefully, maybe at the next meeting, we'll have a better insight or more clarification as to which is it and how that will impact our reserve and how we plan for it going forward.
Yeah, yes, we will be reaching out and trying to drill down deeper into what is causing it. But yeah, I think you understood things correctly, that we, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but we do feel that if the TPA is paying claims slower, it's not just specifically to Mohave. It would probably be across their kind of book of business, and it could be for several reasons: staffing, the uniqueness of a claim, like Chris mentioned, longer review time. That might be more specific to the trust itself because of the nature of a claim. If they're researching any subrogation, anything like that, that could take a longer time for it to get paid. But that would only make up a small percentage of your claims. Your large claims are, about 15 or 20% of your claims. The overall slowdown is the overall claims, which I think Chris has seen a slowdown through all of it. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect that just to be unique to you. I think it's probably for various reasons throughout the TPA that all of their clients are experiencing some kind of a slowdown, maybe not to the same magnitude, but it's something going on with their systems. And again, it could be from a staffing or system updates or anything like that that's causing a slowdown at this particular time. But we will certainly inquire, and from an industry standpoint, I would expect it to revert at some point back up to normal, where they're paying claims faster.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Questions? Comments? Okay, thank you. Would we need,
I think we need to approve it.
approve the actuary recommended financial reserves? No, that's not, were we on 6 or 7? What is this? We're still on 6, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, there's a recommended motion there
Yeah,
to recommend, okay. I will make the motion to approve the 2023-2024 incurred but not reported report as presented.
Second.
so we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 now, discussion and consideration of impossible action regarding the actuary recommended financial reserves.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is the other component to the overall reserve. So this is the actuary's recommended total reserve, which would include the IBNR and then additional reserves to cover the rainy day fund, unexpected claim fluctuation. So with that, the recommendation is $9,627,000, and that does include the IBNR amount of $2.7 million, and that overall reserve equals 6 months of overall contributions. So that number has not changed. That measurement of having a 6 months in reserve is the same as it has been in previous years, but now putting those two components together, the updated number is again that $9.7 million.
Okay, any questions? I've been on this board now for 12 years, my last year, and every year when we hear these numbers, you or whoever is in charge says to us that these are very conservative numbers. And so what this says to me is we're kind of healthy in our trust. We've got this number and we're doing well. That's what I've deduced during the years, is that number, if we're there, because we've been told over the we've been told over the years that we don't want to have too much in the reserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else?
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Can I ask what was the reserve again last year? Was this reserve this year higher or lower than last year?
This will be higher than last year. I don't have that number in front of me. Chris, do you by chance have what the last year's overall reserve recommended?
Eight,
Yes, it was
8.2 million.
8.2. The
8.2.
contingency
So now we are
reserve,
9.6. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, most of that increase is due to the IBNR, what we just talked about. The contingency
Okay.
reserve increased from 6.4 to roughly 6.9. So that's kind of a normal trend, medical trend increase.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Madam Chair, it's for Lynn. The year before though, we were in the 9 million bracket, weren't we?
Didn't you just address that? Repeat again what we were last year. What was our reserve last year?
No,
Last year, the recommended was
not last year,
8.2.
but the year before.
The year before?
2 years prior.
Yes.
You don't have I don't have those numbers. I would assume, just by the nature of claims, it would have been lower than the 8.2, and then it
Yeah.
came up to the
Madam-
8.2.
Madam Chair, I'm
got
going
it.
from memory. It sounds like Chris has the numbers, but I'm from memory. I think it was 7.9 million the year before, 8.2 last year, and then this number
Yeah.
is what we have
Yeah.
this year.
Chris, do
Yes,
you want to
you're-
add
you're-
anything?
Just that your memory is spot on. So it was 7.9 a couple years ago, and
Verlin, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I need a motion.
Since my memory is working good, Madam Chair, I'll defer to whoever started to talk.
Okay. All right.
Madam
So,
Chair, I'll make the motion. I move to approve the recommended financial reserve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. Oops, went a little too fast there. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, discussion, consideration of and possible action regarding ratification of the 2024-2025 stop-loss renewal.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So as I mentioned previously in reviewing the budget, the stop-loss gets finalized after we do that. Again, to refresh, our initial estimate was 25%. The renewal from HM Life came in at about 23.3%, which resulted in about $29,000 in savings. As in prior years, Gallagher's been authorized to work directly with Ken Cunningham to bind the coverage as we go through that renewal process. We review renewal options from the carrier. It was the recommendation to stay at the current level, which is $145,000 for the individual specific, and having a $137,000 aggregating specific alongside that. It's the same as it was in prior years, with the renewal coming in lower than expected, and then maintaining obviously a little bit of conservatism, keeping not absorbing more risk. We recommended to stay the same. So with that, I'll address any questions.
Okay,
the stop
any
loss.
questions? Comments? Okay, doesn't seem there are any, so I need a motion to approve the stop-loss renewal as previously bound.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the stop-loss HM Life renewal as previously bound.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 9, discussion, consideration of impossible action regarding approval of the 2024-2025 risk management plan.
Thanks, Madam Chair. This time every year, we draft the risk management plan. What that is an overview of everything from the contracted vendors, plan designs, the operating procedures, the benefit, any changes in rates, and as well as any projects we're going to complete or work on behalf of the trust in help managing the health plan. This year, there's only one new item that I am adding to this list, and that's number one, provide financial reporting to the county. In years past, we have not done a monthly reporting, and working with Luke and going through the budget exercise last year and knowing that we do in-house trust financial accounting, so we track all the expenses, the claims, and we put that information together. And instead of reviewing it one time, I thought it would be helpful to work with Luke throughout the year and provide additional reporting on a monthly basis. That way we can kind of keep an eye on things, make sure we're not, reviewing thousands of numbers in a couple of hours and trying to get on the same page. I think this will help us identify if there are any differences in what we're receiving from a data standpoint to what he's seeing being pulled out of the accounts. There are timing differences. The weekly polls may not always add up to what we're being reported as paid. So I think having this second source of data is going to be a valuable exercise for us working together in the future as we build up to that renewal meeting.
Very good. That sounds reasonable to me. Any questions? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the 24-25 risk management plan as presented.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That was a yay, I assume. Motion carries. Okay. 10 is an administrative update.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question
Susan.
for the update. I do understand, with the election, they're different, and, you are leaving too, and there are new supervisors probably in the districts that are coming in. Is there any plan to change the composition of the trustees based on those new supervisors who are coming on board? Or we just run through our 3-year cycle, appointment period?
I believe that when a new supervisor comes in, he or she has the option to change out the people is that true, or once they're in, they have a 3-year commitment?
Madam Chair, since you're looking at me, I will answer it this way. I honestly don't know. We will look at the bylaws with the attorneys and just follow accordingly. I don't know specifically if the bylaw says a current member will serve their term, and when it's up, the incoming board supervisor for the district will get a choice to appoint, or if it's an automatic end of term so we'll just have to check on that and then probably put out a letter or a memo to the board of trustees for this trust to let them know.
Okay, let's make sure that happens quickly, because there were some misunderstandings when I took office, and there were some hurt feelings, and,
And Chairman Angus, I just want you to know that the clerk of the board's office right now is working on going through and creating the most up-to-date lists for all the commissions and boards in the county. We will be giving that out to each of the supervisors to let them know of upcoming renewals and things like that. It's my understanding, as we've been going through some of these, looking at these, that is typically, when they sign up, it is for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They fulfill their term. When that expires, then someone else, then we go to the chair or the supervisor of that district at that time and ask if they would like to renew or what they would like to do, and let their offices handle that. So we will have that hopefully probably within the next 2 weeks. We'll have that project finished up and out to the supervisors.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. So when's our next meeting? Do we have another one before the end of the year? Nope. This is it for me? 12 years. I remember the first time.
Wow, 12
I know.
years, yeah.
I know. You'll
I
have to
know
pick another
that.
chairman, but I want to thank everybody.
Oh.
Thank the volunteer board. I think this board is one of the best in the county. I know I'm a little biased, but it's true. And it's just
Yeah.
been a pleasure working with everybody, those who went before. And I think that we have it together, and I'm very proud of this board.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Madam Chairman, this is Susie.
Yes.
I would like to thank you for your leadership in this board. It was nice really working with you. When I was a staff, I see how you work, and now I'm a member of the trustee. I see how you work too. So
Right.
thank you for your
Thank you
service.
so much, Susie. I appreciate that. Okay, is there any requests?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I can't help, but I want to say something too. Given how the things works and the value of continuity, it really makes it unique that you've been on the board for 12 years. And throughout the years, you've been the chairman of this trust. And the fact that this trust has only gotten better over the years is a testimony to your leadership, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, but it's really a testimony to the hard work of everybody who's sitting here. So, but thank you very much. Is there a request for future action? Doesn't seem to be. So if there's not anything else, we will adjourn. Thank you again.
Thank you, Hildy.
Thanks. I'll still see you,
Bye.
right? Okay,
Yes,
bye.
hopefully. See you around.
Hopefully. Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.